Hello everyone, welcome to me driving home from the gym after doing cardio and mobility. We're here, let's not go that way, let's go backwards. So today I want to talk about, in my hands-free method, this is how busy I am. This is the only time I have to record, is when I am literally leaving the fucking gym and driving and I have shit all else to do. So this is hands-free, by the way, obviously. So it takes me 20 minutes to get home. If this video isn't 20 minutes, then then it's I'm gonna have to just sit here and wait for the recording to end or my storage to fill, whatever comes first, and then just crop it down. Anyway, today we're going to talk about off-season mistakes that people make, and the most common ones that kind of come to me. Now we're going to start off with training first of all. Now, most mistakes that people make, they're not really as universal as you'd kind of hope. So what I mean is they're more often than not grouped into 2 or 3 categories. Now, when it comes to off-season progression, you've got the main 2 categories that I see in regards to training. Number 1 is the people who are just absolutely obsessed with numbers and push way too much into progressive overload. Now, let me kind of caveat this first. Progressive overload is fantastic. The idea of constantly training hard, which is the overload bit, okay, please, progressive overload is not just progressing lifts, it's progressing lifts within appropriate proximity to failure. Progressive means progression, means adding, okay, or just beating. And overload means training within appropriate proximity to failure, training hard and beating numbers, right? This is needed to grow tissue, okay? If this is not occurring, then you've got a concern. Now, if you're a little bit newer to training, I would say that cautiously pushing up lifts is good. What I mean by cautious is not adding on more than the minimal amount of load that you have access to. If the least you can add is 1.25 kilo, do that. Don't add 5, don't add 10, go slower. If you've got a really high repetition set, say you're aiming for a set of like 5 to 8, 5 to 10, and you've got 50 to 20, yeah, in that instance, sure, I would say it's important to add a bit more load because you can get away with it, and because you don't want to add a small amount of load and then you beat that 20 repper into a 25 repper and it's like, oh dear. If you're new to the gym, please do progress, please do learn to train hard. Once you've been training for a while, progressive overload is something you can get carried away with and you can force it to occur. And when you're forcing progressive overload to occur, that's taking progressively more and more stimulants. That's getting progressively more and more hyped up for a set. It might be progressively letting form slip and slip and slip. And the thing is, you're just trying to beat numbers for the sake of beating numbers. What's going to happen is that magnitude of stimulus, that muscle building signal, is going to remain the exact fucking same or reduce, because now you've gone from a full depth squat of 100 kilos to a half depth squat of 150 kilos, and therefore we're missing out on a lot of goody stuff there from that stimulus. So remember that stimulus isn't really like a quantifiable number per se, it's more a hypothetical idea of like how big the muscle building signal is, but it's made of load, reps, proximity to failure, and range of motion, okay? So essentially how much mechanical tension you're driving is down to the time it takes to complete a rep, as well as proximity to failure, as well as load, reps, and ROM, okay? ROM is important, that range of motion. So if you're just trying to get stronger for the sake of just getting stronger, you're just going to cause yourself to get injured, and you're going to put yourself in a shit place. And if you try and force progressive overload to occur, you're forcing adaptations. Sometimes, especially if you're natural, or especially if you're very fucking lean, natural or not, you're just not going to be able to take constant progressions. The thing is, a rep is very arbitrary, right? So if you do a 5 repper and then you get a half rep, some people will log that as 5.5, some people won't. Technically, you could say, well, if you failed right after doing 5 reps before, but you did 5.5 this time, that's progression. Maybe you did 5 1/10 of a rep. Maybe you did 5 1/4, right? To progress by 1 full rep is still quite arbitrary. You can progress by less than a rep. You can get less than a rep stronger each week and not know. So sometimes if you're progressing by half a rep or a third of a rep, it might take you 2 or 3 weeks to add a rep, and that's fine. There's still benefit to holding peak levels of strength. If you've just been able to RDL 200 kilos at 10, and you've never been able to do that, being able to do that for weeks on weeks on weeks is fucking awesome. That's still fantastic, especially if your, say, other axial loading work, your other posterior work, or your other hamstring work is growing, right? If you want to know if your hamstrings are growing, when your RDL is staying the same and all your other ham lifts are progressing, fucking sick. That implies very good things, okay? So, first issue that we're training that I see more often than not is people trying to force progressive overload. Now we're going to talk about food. Food nowadays tends to come in the issue of 1 to 2 things. I'm going to talk about scale weight impact. So first things first is the people who rush food, right? As soon as scale weight doesn't go up 1 week or doesn't go up by the number they want in a week, they're instantly putting food in, okay? Now, I want to see people get heavier in an off season. I want to see people get heavier, right? It needs to happen. But I don't need you heavier every single week, especially if sometimes you plug food in and you gain a kilo on the scale and you're thinking shit, and then the next week you don't gain, and then you're plugging food in immediately. What are we doing? We've just gained a kilo. Let's let that average simmer. Let's let that chill a little bit, right? You've just gained a kilo. You've probably bought yourself 2, 3, 4 weeks of like holding body weight, and that average would still be fucking superb. So when it comes to food, look at the average that you're gaining. I usually plot it on a graph, and I want to see, okay, is that graph moving upwards, or are they in a position where the average rate of gain each week is a nice sensible number, right? If you're gaining, say, fucking 5 kilos in a week, yeah, man, let's chill out for a little bit. Let's let that kind of average come down a little bit, because there's no need for us to be gaining 5 kilos every single week. But equally, if we've just gained 5 kilos, I don't need you to be gaining on top of that, right? Let's let it chill for a bit. So making sure that your rate of gain is nice and sensible, and not forcing food up. Yes, you can drive up some nasty progression by just jumping your food into the fucking sky, but equally, we're not here to get out of shape, okay? We do want to see strength trend upwards. We do want to see body weight trend upwards. The general trend of what I'm saying, the general gist of what I'm saying is people are far too focused on week to week nonsense. Like, are you progressing week to week? Are you getting heavier week to week? That's fantastic. I love that. That's great, right? That we're not focusing day to day, we're focusing week to week. But I also want to see what that trend is doing. Just because this week you didn't get stronger or you didn't get heavier, as long as we see that a trend has up to that point meant that you were getting stronger and were getting heavier, and as long as we see that that trend is continuing, then fantastic, good, happy. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. Things overall, the overarching trajectory of where you're headed is good. And I think, again, that's another thing where people go wrong, is being a little bit too shy with things. And they go, okay, so people all the time talk about you don't need to get fat in off season, so let's keep it lean. So then people, try and set the barrier that they're trying to gain way too low, 100 grams a week or something like that, right? And if in that instance you fuck up a week, the margin for error that you've got is so small. If you fuck up that surplus a little bit, you're now basically maintaining. And then it takes, 1 week fucked, 1 week good, second week fucked, and it's like you might string 4 good weeks together, like in a row, and then something happens and you lose 4 weeks of progress. Because 4 weeks is only 400 grams gained, right? And that's quite easy to lose in a fucking week, especially accidentally. So it's often that overlook of people think they're going somewhere, but they're not. They're treading water in place. So first of all, if you're listening to this, get a fucking coach. I'm a coach. I've got other coaches. Link down below if you do want it. But if you're not in the market for a coach, right, look at what you're doing. Track it, log it, observe it, okay? Use your trends over time to look at what things are doing. One thing I have is I have a spreadsheet that I use for my clients, and it will mark in red, green or white whether they progressed, held or lost. And what we look to see is over the course of multiple weeks, are we seeing greens and whites? Are we seeing any reds? We're aiming to see mostly greens. Obviously we're going to see some whites sometimes, right? It's not always possible to just consistently progress, but that's what I'm looking for. And again, body weight I often track on a graph. Now look at where's that line headed. If I plot it on a graph in Excel, which I would recommend you guys doing, literally, if you're fucking really lazy, give the numbers to ChatGPT, be like, hey, here's a document with all my weigh-ins, give me a graph that has a line of best fit of my body weight and where it's trending, right? And you should see that that predicted line of best fit continues upwards. And I would look at where that changes, right? You can use that to predict, okay, in a month's time, according to this graph, I'll be roughly at this body weight. In 3 months' time, this. In 6 months' time, this. Am I happy with that? Is it saying that, in a month's time, I'm only going to be like 100 grams heavier? Okay, that's not great. Is it saying that in a month's time, I'll be 5 kilos heavier? Okay, that's a bit excessive, right? So that's where we need to bear in mind where we're headed and looking at those averages. But look at what you're doing. If you've got a lift where, and again, I would mark every session, whether it's gone up or down or held. Keep an eye on that, right? Every time a lift doesn't go up, mark it. Every time a lift holds the same, mark it. Every time a lift goes down, mark it. Make sure you know what's going on. And you might start to look at your logbook or whatever, app or notes or whatever the fuck you're using. And you might go, this lift is kind of bouncing around a progressing? Am I improving? Because if all you're doing is just trading increases in weight and decreases for reps, are you actually getting stronger, or are you just doing new shit, right? I could do a set of 15 to 20 on a leg press with, like, I don't know, fucking 4 or 5 plates per side. Let's say 5 for the sake of a nice round number. And let's say I get 5 for 20, right? Nice even number. I could jump to 6 plates per side, and then I might get 15. But okay, well, am I actually stronger, or did I just go heavier, right? The same way that I could do like a 1 rep max on a bench press, and then I could also do my 3 rep max. My 3 rep max is obviously lighter, and I'm not any weaker, I'm just working in a different rep range, and so therefore an appropriate load for that rep range is just lower. That doesn't mean I'm stronger or weaker, it's just different. It's the same body with the same strength and capability and the same ability to demonstrate strength, just demonstrating it in different ways, right? You have an ability to demonstrate a repetition max at every single rep range. You have a 1 rep max, 2 rep max, 3 rep max, all the way up to like fucking, I don't know, 500 rep max technically, or fucking 600 rep max. Christ, poor sods who do that. Hopefully no one listening. If you're doing that and you're expecting to grow, you're gonna have some issues. So to kind of summarize things, if you are looking to grow in an off season and do things as best as possible, look on a week-to-week basis, but also look a little bit beyond that. Look at a month-to-month, a 2-month, 3-month, 6-month. If you want a nice framework, I'd say look week to week across 3 months, and then across, say, 6 months. Once you've finished up your gaining phase, have a look back like a fucking Spotify Wrapped, right? There you go. Now I'm speaking your language. Put it together like a Spotify Wrapped. You progressed this lift the most. You progressed this lift the least. And look back on that one that progressed the least. Is that because of changes in programming? Is that because of changes in form? Is that because of lifestyle factors? Is that because you got an injury? Look at what that is. Can we explain it away? Okay, well, this lift ended up the same as it started in off season. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully we filmed it. Let's go and look at it. Is it that, oh shit, actually, yeah, it's way more meticulous now, or no, fuck, it looks identical. So what lift progressed the most? What lift progressed the least? Where did the others fall? How much weight did we gain? What does that look like? Start pictures, end pictures. What's the average rate of gain that we've seen there? How much condition loss have we observed from having that rate of gain? Was it appropriate? Is there things that we could have changed? And then I'd also look back at just kind of general things you could improve. How was your sleep? How was your hydration? How was illness? How was your immune system? How was stress? How were lifestyle factors? Were you moving house? Did you fucking hamster die during this phase? Or was it pretty damn plain sailing? I'd also look at just kind of general enjoyment of the phase and things like that. Maybe how often you had to change things up. Alcohol consumption or drug consumption, like if you were fucking on it all the time. And then I'd also do the same when you diet. When you do inevitably diet down, look at your actions and compare them. Were you more dialed in when you were dieting? And can you take those habits forward and use those in your off season, right? Were you, oh fuck, I never miss a cardio session when I'm dieting, I never miss my mobility, I never miss on posing, but in the off season I said I was going to pose on Tuesday, but actually I kind of can't be arsed now because it's a bit, tiring or whatever. So look at those habits and make sure that they're maintaining. So my advice to you guys is look over longer periods of time and make sure that you're seeing progression that is occurring, and look at the rate of that progression and use that to constantly tweak and tailor. If you are very objective and you look back on your own data, like I do with my clients, it's very fucking hard to not have a clear idea of what to do. It gives you a lot of insight into how to program things, execution cues, injury concerns, mobility concerns. It gives you good feedback on potentially like lagging muscle groups. Like I said, programming concerns. So if it's like, hey, this lift is just not progressing off season to off season, okay, cool. Well, let's look into that. Why is that not progressing? Do we need more volume? Do we need to change up execution? Do we need to change up exercise order, etc., etc.? But yeah, look at those habits and see what you can get away with. Okay. Now, thank you all for listening. I am currently, I'm gonna break the 4-4. I'm currently pulling over to turn off this camera and hopefully get that fucking van off my ass. God damn, bro, it was riding me. Anyway, if you found this video useful in any capacity, let me know, and hopefully I will do more. Right, here we go, I can pull over here. Lovely. I'm like 5 minutes from my house. We fucking nailed that. Right, hopefully I don't look too sweaty. and I've zoomed the camera out, so if I look really fucking small, then I'm blaming that. Thank you all for watching, and the video that's probably been going on in the background is like my lower session and or bits and bobs that I've got. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Links down below. Listen to the podcast. If you want coaching, I've got spaces available. I've also got 2 other coaches at lower price points if you're interested as well. And yeah, all the links down below.